Okay, the next thing we're going to do here is make our grill. Like I said, depending on the size of your trash can, you might end up finding that a readily available round grill uh, rack works great for you. I like this expanded metal, and the reason I like it is nothing can fit through those holes, and don't lose your food. If you got a little small piece of steak, I like to cut my own meat. Sometimes you got some little random bits. You want to do some vegetables. You want to, whatever you want to do. Nothing's going to fall through this, but you can get the smoking and the heat through just fine. So I really like it's very attractive to me to have this. This is flat rolled expanded metal, so it's not real rough. You can scrape right underneath it. It is thin, and you can see I've used it a little bit right here on this fire pit, and it has warped a little bit. So I am going to reinforce it to keep it rigid and also give it strength to hold up. We'll do that in a minute. But right now, we're just going to set this trash can on top. We're going to take our Sharpie back pocket and just kind of trace around it here and get us a good circle. So we've got our circle. We're going to cut this, and we're going to put in a couple of bars to reinforce it, and then we're going to move to the next step. Okay, well, we moved into the shop here mostly for convenience. I'm going to use my angle grinder to cut this circle out, and like I said, I'm going to cut it a little bit smaller than what I drew. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, but you can do it however you want. Here we go. Here we got our circle. Okay, let's go see how it fits. Measuring this circle at about 20 inches. So we're going to cut it down to 19 inches. Over here on the sides where it was a little thinner, it's a 19 and a half. So I think 19 inches is going to be good. We're going to find the center of this circle real quick. This is the bonehead way of doing it. This meaning you don't have to know anything. So what you do is you take a square. This happens to be a T square. You put it to the edge of the circle, and you get a line here. So we're going to swing this out till we're at like 19. Well, we're going to do something that's easy. We can do half of it. We need to do half. So I'm going to go out till I'm at 18. And I know what I'm going to do. And we're just being rough. This circle, it doesn't matter if we're dead on. So we're going to draw a little line here, along. And we don't need a line across the entire thing. I'm trying to use this white so I can see my dang line. So we've got an 18-inch line here. Come over here. Do the same thing again. Swing it out until I get an 18. And draw a little line here in the middle. Okay. We got our two lines. And you could draw that line the whole length if you really felt like you had to, but we don't need to for this. So we only need the center of the line. So now we're going to divide that in half. So we got, what's a half of that? That's 9. So I'm going to draw a little line at 9. Over here at this one, we were at 18. Our 9 line here, I forgot to do that one when I was over here. So we get that. Then all you do is, and this might be easier with a smaller square, so I'm going to use this smaller square, is we're going to square off of this line, and right at our 9-inch line, we're going to draw a line towards the center. And then over here, at our 9-inch line, we're going to draw a line towards the center. It's in the square door line. And where those lines intersect, which happens to be right here, that's our center. So that's what we're going to use for our center. It would work obviously a lot easier on a smooth piece of metal. This is real tricky. So now when we have our center, we're going to just kind of set ourselves a little anchor point. Then tape measures can also be used as a compass. You see that little notch right there? That's what that's for. So look over the head of a nail or a screw, and you can draw yourself a circle. That's what they're for. All the little things about 20 years of carpentry paid off. So we're going to go with a 19. So if that's our center, 9 and 9 is 18, so we want to be at 9 and a half. That's going to be 19. So we're just going to make some spots. Now it fits down in there pretty good. That's about where we want it to fit. It's right about there. Okay, we're going to do a little welding. Now this project does not require welding. I'm welding because I want to make this special grate. I'm trying to make a grate that fits perfectly in my trash can grill, and I'm also want it to be this expanded metal because I don't like the thing when you've got the little wires and stuff can slip through the cracks. One burger down the crack is too many burgers down the crack. I've had it happen before. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to weld a couple of scraps of metal I had kicking around. So these are just left from a different old project. I'm just going to kind of lay them on here. I'm going to tack them in here just to give this expanded metal some rigidity. And then I'm going to take this rod and I'm going to weld it around the edge just to kind of, because there's a lot of rough little pokey edges here, and I don't like that. I don't want something, I don't want to get caught on that one day and hurt myself. So I'm just going to kind of tack that around the edge just to kind of finish it off. Get a nice finished look. I expect that this rack will last me for a lot of years. So I'm going to make it real nice. And again, like I say, you could just buy one of these, not with the expanded metal, but a regular old barbecue grill rack and be done. So this is just extra stuff that I'm doing to make mine fancy, not really required for this project. Yes, I don't weld with gloves on, never have. Gotten burned a lot, don't care. Because I was sorry. I don't want to ruin my wire, it's real thin, so I'm going to weld real cold. When I do TIG welding, I use gloves, not MIG. Okay, so I broke down, I walked the whole 10 feet to the drawer and got the wire brush out and wire brushed it so I can get a better weld. Had one little spot where it burned through, which annoys me right here. So I'm going to grind that flat. I think that'll be pretty good. That'll give it a little more rigidity. It'll bend in half that way, it'll bend in half this way. And we'll fix that when we put the wire around the outside. I'm going to kind of hand bend it here. Just kind of massage it around here. There, wire. I knew a guy who was a metal worker and sold signage and did all kinds of really elaborate artistic metalwork. He worked in a shop that was 10 by 10 in his little garage that he was renting, and he had an angle grinder and a welder, and that was all. And all the bends he did, hand bend. You sit there like this, bend in the middle. We'll start welding at this end and work our way around, and then we'll just cut it where we need to. Okay, let's bring you in here and have you give you a look at what we got. This ugly mess. So you can see here that we have our grill here. I welded it up just about any point where it touches the expanded metal. It's a wonky shape, it's warped, it's not flat, but it's going to do what I want it to do. And that's to keep meat from falling into the fire. Okay, here we go. I added a few more things to this thing. So way too much time on this grill surface. I added these wire handles so I can lift it out. I added a little brace in the center so that it wouldn't bend in the middle. But now I've got what I'm satisfied with. That's why they don't make them this way. That's why they make those wire things with all the straight wires, because they don't warp. Because they're only one direction. This warps and can twist if it gets hot and quenched and blah blah blah. It's going to be warpy like that. But dang it, no meat falls through. And I like that. So to me it's totally worth dealing with the warpy.